Hello everybody, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor. Today, 3 fails. Three things coming up, 3 different sort of, not fails, sort of. First of all though, subscribe to the channel, it's free, do it now, do it. First fail, and I'm kind of monitoring this, is from the DVSA. It looks like test times are increasing again. They did all that work to reduce them in my area, in Gosforth and Blythe, and it's looking like that 4-week period that they had is now 8 or 9 weeks. This is probably because they've started doing more testing in other areas, they've reassigned the people back to the original roles, but I'm going to monitor that for a little while, and I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if it changes, I'll make a video on it. But up to now, it looks like it's hanging on by the skin of its teeth. So the DVS look like that because of the reassignments that they're starting to lose that target that they had, that 6 to 8 week target that they wanted to get down to. Well, in some places they got down to 4 weeks, and it looks like they've let it slip a little bit. They certainly have at Gosforth, because at one point at Gosforth, there was like 10 people going out at once, and they'd got the waiting time down to like 2 weeks or something like that. So they've done a really good job, but then it's all fallen by the wayside. I have noticed his test in the south increasing, so whether that's because they've taken more people on, I don't really know. I know the AA, the Automobile Organisation, is also looking into it, and yeah, that could be a big thing. Yeah. The second sort of fail, not fail. On Monday, Arriva announced that they are cutting some of the services. They're cutting the numbers of the buses down because they're failing to deliver their own plan. Now, the bus service as it is kind of fairly skeletonish anyway. I worked in the bus industry, I know exactly what it's like. You can't get drivers for love nor money, and the reason behind it is, and the reason you can't keep up with service, is because there isn't enough qualified drivers. Now, part of that is probably to do with minimum wage. Oh yeah, I hear you screaming, right, it's not minimum wage. Oh yes it is. Oh no it isn't. Oh yes it is. Right, minimum wage went up 10%, right? Everybody knows that. It actually went up a little bit more than 10%. So if they put minimum wage up 10%, then surely everybody else should go up 10%. But you're saying that you can't increase everybody 10% because your business model will fail. Yeah, there's loads of issues with it. I'm going to put the report probably just there about what the report online was, what the paper has said. But ultimately, it comes down to bad management, really poor management. This service that even Stagecoach and Go North East are running, especially in the North East, is poor. Now, what they've said about this new election that's going to come up is that they're going to kind of fold all these bus companies into the remit of Nexus again, which is what happened about 1970s. I don't know, I wasn't there, wasn't alive. But by the time it got to the 80s and they get this freedom to do what you want with the bus services, it hasn't really worked in some areas. And this is kind of one of them. One of the reasons for extending the zone areas all the way up to Washington and potentially Morpeth was so that they could fold those bus services into Nexus. So anything in a Nexus zoned area, 1 to 4, is likely to become part of that service. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to go back to where the buses used to end in Gateshead and never used to cross the river into Newcastle. That's a stupid idea. But what they might do is they might then say, right, we're not making a profit on this. We don't need to make a profit on this. We're getting a very large government subsidy to cover the £2 fares. What we need is people. We need mechanics, we need drivers, we need managers, we need people on the ground that run the service. And they're going to run this service quite efficiently. And how they're going to do that is by paying people a little bit more money. So instead of getting 12 quid an hour, they're now getting 15. It's quite reasonable when you think about it though, because that's kind of the way it's gone. The service shouldn't be driving around 20-year-old buses, simples. Yeah, the report's there, you read the report. The third fail is from a company called Intelligent Instructor. It's kind of an email I get on a weekly basis. It's something I didn't really sign up for. I just get it and read some information in it. They occasionally put daft things in, like, our headlights too bright. This one was a bit confusing. I'll put the report there. It's about that youngsters want to drive EVs. If you've got your own opinion, fine. Mine's different to most people's. Like, I like EVs, I like the idea of them, I like the thought of them, I like what they can do, except when you build them, they cost them a fortune environmentally. Brand new, they're a fortune. Resales have come down quite a lot, and then you hit a brick wall of the charging. So let's say I trade my nice lovely Clio in for the electric equivalent, which is a Zoe. I've another video here, and I want to do my average annual mileage of 40,000 miles. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty. Potentially I could charge on my driveway, but over a period of a week, if I'm working for 50 hours a week, that's 40 hours plus travel time, average working week, then my car is literally going to be charging for around about 100 hours a week on a 7.5 kilowatt charger potentially. And that's before I get to cost, because it's 18 pence a kilowatt. And I know what you're saying. Yeah, you can get cheap ones, and you can get solar, and you can get the batteries. Nobody's got, let's be honest here, nobody's got that sort of money. What happens in 5 or 6 years' time, when they are supposed to be effectively ending petrol and diesel? They're not banning the sales until 2035. We know that from the government. But what happens in 20 years' time, potentially, when, no, let's say 5 or 6 years. What happens in 5 or 6 years' time when everybody's supposed to have an electric car? Can you see everybody with an electric car in 20 years' time? Absolutely not. I don't think they're here to stay. I think they're a bit of a in-between to what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen. I wish I had a crystal ball. But ultimately, I think that electric is not the answer. I also think that petrol and diesel isn't the answer. I want something where I get 400 miles of range out of it. Now that Zoe does about 230 on a fairly good battery. My average mileage, my average speed per day, 23 miles an hour, right? 8 hours a day. You've got to be reasonable here, haven't you? You've got to sort of be reasonable and work this out, that this doesn't work for me as a driving instructor. Now, funny enough, I've seen driving instructor cars as electric, and I've never really got round to asking any of them. I know one of them, he said, oh, the car's fantastic, full of this kit, full of distractions, going back to the distraction video, full of stuff that could potentially be very good. But then it comes to sitting and charging the damn thing. Yeah, sure, you haven't got the fuel bill up today, what, 144, 146 a litre of petrol. It isn't as expensive as that. But then there are those horror stories about, well, me Tesla's got a 100 kilowatt battery. I took it to Tesco, went to charge it up, come back half an hour later on the 100 kilowatt charger. Well, it's charged 80%. Fantastic, great. And they look at the contactless and it's £1 a kilowatt. I think I did a video on this quite a long time ago where I said, yes, they're great, but not for me. I still think the same. Just because of the barriers. I don't see how long term that everybody could be driving battery. We haven't got the infrastructure to hit that 11-year target from now. We just simply haven't. We'd need to build a load of power stations as well. What are they going to run the power stations on? Because a nuclear power plant, which is the cleanest possible type of energy other than renewables, takes 20 years of planning. What are they going to power everything on? Maybe you got your own opinion, and I invite comments. I like your opinion. I like what you think about it. Do you think that electric cars have got a future? And what do you think about the report? Because I used to trust these guys, and they had some good ideas about stuff. Ideas that I could use in videos. But this one is written so badly, and it implies that every youngster now wants to drive or learn in an EV. Well, most instructors haven't got that kind of money to change to an EV. What are the normal people going to be like? What are the people with decent credit ratings floating around in their nice 20 reg, I don't know, Vauxhall Astra? What are they going to do? They can't switch to an EV because they've got to trade that car in and potentially get a car that's the same. It's not going to happen. Also, another thing, they're still selling petrol and diesel cars today, especially automatic ones. So if this car, 7 years old, this will be 8 years old when I get rid of it. 8 years from now, 2032, let's say, for argument's sake, 2032, let's say 2035, let's say a deadline, yeah? Let's say, so the cars right now, I'll have one of the cars that are available right now in 10 years' time when the deadline comes. There will still be cars, petrol and diesel, automatics, for 10, 15 years after that. Maybe even longer. Maybe even they don't stop building them. Maybe the battery equivalent cars, whenever they come out, maybe they become so efficient and range useful and effectively chargerless, or maybe there's a different way of charging them, that they become so good that people want them. Do people want battery cars, or a lot of people being forced into leases? This article was going on about that they've sold so many cars. That's not strictly true. Most of them, according to the Society of Motor Manufacturer, blah blah blah, 300,000, most of them have gone into fleets, and most of the fleet cars, or the hire cars, nobody wants them. Nobody wants to drive them because they're scared of running out of electricity with nowhere to charge it. It's not like I can go down the petrol station, one there, one just down this road. Is there going to be electric charger everywhere? Well, there might be, but not one everywhere that works. So, whilst you've seen an increase in the charges, I don't know. What do you think? You tell me. If you like, this is just a shocking video. I've got videos that come out all the time, you know that. This is just a quick video. This will probably go out tomorrow because I'm filming this on Saturday. Hopefully it goes out tomorrow. I've got to edit it tonight because of the stories and about the buses changing and about the DVSA, which I'm going to monitor. Tell us what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, it's free. And I'll see you in the next one. Yes.